Take back your soul. This is another transmission from Mahadeva here at ThunderWizard.com headquarters, where you find the world's only unified spiritual energy system at ThunderWizard.com. Get ready, because here I come. Hello YouTube, this is Mahadeva the Thunder Wizard, and today we're going to take a look at the spiritual possibilities and my personal experience with what science is saying is a parallel universe where time moves backwards. It's actually a mirror universe. It's not just a parallel universe. It's this idea that there is our universe, and attached right to our universe, right on top of it, is this mirror universe. And it's what, the spiritual masters have been calling the yin yang, the Shiva Shakti. And I have been training for years in a spiritual energetic practice where I was taught from the beginning that what you're doing with these practices is you are tapping into what they called the mirror side of the universe. And some of you have already started to tap into that. And here's the idea behind it. It's not that you go and you travel to the mirror universe. That sounds like a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong, I got nothing against that. You're already attached to it. This universe is already attached to the mirror universe. So it's not like it's another universe that you go travel to. You're already there, but it's the other polarity of you. And the idea is to unify these two polarities, and the unification creates huge amounts of energy. All right, so let's talk about the experiment itself. So the experiment itself, and by the way, when I talk about the exercises where I tap into both the yin and the yang, the positive and negative, this side of the mirror and the mirror side, that is here. Maoshan.thunderwizard.com is the elite practice, but you can also tap into it doing the lightning qigong here. So if you haven't done either of those, go check them out. So what is the experiment? Well, long story short is that scientists in Antarctica, not that that necessarily means anything, but in Antarctica, they have experiments where they take a balloon and they put things way up in the atmosphere, and they measure certain kinds of energy particles that are coming to the Earth. And I'm not a scientist, so I don't know what they're trying to figure out with that. And they, of course, they picked up a lot of these energy particles, I think neutrinos or something like that. That were coming to the Earth and blah, whatever they were looking for, blah, blah, blah. But they also picked up these other particles that were the opposite charge that were coming from the Earth. And now that may not sound like a big deal to us, like, well, yeah, there's energy going in both directions, except that apparently these energy particles don't pass through the Earth in that way, or in other words, they would know if a particle had passed through the Earth, but that these were particles coming from the Earth as opposed to coming to it, and they were the opposite charge, if I'm understanding. And so there's already mathematics. The mathematics in physics says that when the Earth was created, or when the universe, sorry, not just the Earth, but the universe, when the universe was created in the Big Bang, it mathematically had to have created its opposite. Where we have matter, they have antimatter. And so everything would be mirrored. Left would be right, right would be left. And time is also mirrored, which means that from our perspective, they're going backwards in time. So what that means is that this was an energy particle that if we go into their mirrored universe, the energy particle is coming to the Earth, not going away from it. So what we're seeing here is not energy particles that's passing through the earth and coming out the other side. It's energy particles that were, if you're going in forward motion, they're energy particles that are coming to the earth. So the idea is that we have this yin-yang universe, and if we were to see the other universe, we would see them going in that direction, which would look like, time would be going backwards. But it's not. It's just mirrored like this. If you're traveling on this train, you're going towards Chicago. You're traveling on this train, you're going towards wherever, San Francisco. They're going in opposite directions. From your perspective, that train's going backwards. No, it's going forwards in its direction. So the other you, it's really not another you, it's your other half. Your other half is experiencing time going in the other direction. So these Mao Shan guys, they figured out this was going on, and this was one of the reasons that made them so powerful, because really what's going on is you're only living in half. You're actually living in both halves, but you're only experiencing your half of the universe. But what if you were to harness the power of both of these, really one universe that's mirroring itself? What if you were to harness that whole energy power? And this is what we do in this practice. And I'm beginning to, you can see me doing it here. Well, look at that. I'm going to switch directions. It's because you're tapping into this. Now, an interesting thing I just realized in Norse myth is that according to Norse mythology, there is a giant being from which all of the other beings came from. And I won't get into the details of it, but this giant from which all of the other beings came from, including all of the gods and everything like that, this being, when it's described, is mirrored. That our right is his left, and his left is our right. It also brings to mind the idea that this strange dark matter that we don't understand, and this dark energy that we can't seem to figure out, now seems to make a lot more sense, because on our side, there's a huge bulk of matter and energy that doesn't, we can't, we can see the effects of it, but we can't measure it. So that would mean on the flip side of what we're considered our universe is positive, we consider theirs negative. They probably consider theirs positive and ours negative. But that would mean on their side, there's a whole bunch of light matter and light energy, whatever. It probably is dark to them as well, because they can't measure it and they can't see it, but they can see the effects of it. So do you get where I'm going with this? Huge amounts of energy. If we could tap into both, not both, but the actual entire universe, which is both positive and negative, yin and yang, time going forward, time going backwards. Another interesting idea is, what if you could, as your train is passing your other half self train, if you could stop and ask yourself, what's about to happen? Because they're coming from your future. And you're coming from their past. Or is it the other way around? Yeah, I don't know. It's confusing. But imagine what you could learn. Is this deja vu? Is this what happens when we have a deja vu moment? Are we passing by, that same moment mirrored in two realities? In any case, we don't have to theorize about it. We can tap into it. So the way we tap into it is by doing what's called the yin-yang hands. Now, I teach a free version of that somewhere on this channel. You can go look for that. And it has to do with holding the right hand up and the left hand underneath. And then there's a process of where they switch places. But there's a whole other mirror side of that. And I teach that up here in the Warrior 90-Day Lightning Qigong. And if you just wanted to take the power of the entire universe, which includes not only the light, but the dark, the up, the down, the yin, the yang. If you want both sides of this mirrored universe, even though we only experience one half of it, if you want that complete unification, you can go there and subscribe and look for the full yin yang hands practice that I have in the members only videos. So let's see, was there something else I wanted to say about that? I can't remember if there was or not. In any case, I've done that practice, sometimes just that practice alone. You know, here again, you're seeing a different, there's one half of it, but I give you the entire thing up here. So this is where real power comes from. And if you're prepared for the physiological, the emotional, the psychological, and the spiritual changes that are coming for you, if you do it, then I recommend it. I also have experienced strange dreams as a result of that. Of doing that practice, I have dreams where I go into this, it's the same realm, but things are strangely backwards. And it's a very intense, weird feeling when it happens. And I also think this is a way for us to really learn how to feel complete. So do you have that feeling like you're only halfway connected to yourself? You're only halfway connected to this world? So what would happen if you could feel entirely complete? If you want to understand that, go ahead and go to the Warrior 90-Day Challenge. Or if you want to just go ahead and get started with the major stuff, you can go here to maoshan.thunderwizard.com. Or do the Awakening the Immortals Qigong. That also has this yin-yang hands in it. All right, that's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys very soon. Take care of yourselves. Take back your soul. This is another transmission from Mahadeva here at thunderwizard.com headquarters, where you find the world's only unified spiritual energy system at thunderwizard.com. Get ready, because here I come.